Kata, negatif, kan boleh discussion lain. Ia dalam level yang malah notasi kita sudah berkam das. So good morning, everyone. It's great to see you all here, bright and early. Her Excellency, Engineer Aisha, our colleagues in the private sector, in the public sector, and the development partners community. Thank you for being with us for a very interesting and exciting program launch event this morning. My name is Pedro. I am the founder of Precise. Precise is an economic development advisory firm. We are essentially, our mission is essentially empowering businesses so that they can help to accelerate economic development. When we mean economic development, we mean better living conditions for the most number of people we can imagine in the country. So income growth, job creation, better health, nutrition, whatsoever. We feel the private sector has a tremendous role to play in that space. And our role is to play as a catalyst and intermediary to work with broad stakeholders, specifically the government and development partners, to help accelerate that growth of the private sector. And we work essentially in two sectors, in agriculture and in off-grid energies, specifically again, because these two are found to have the most impact on the most number of people. So colleagues, no country in the world has become rich, as far as I know, without industrializing first. Most countries of any size have gone from agriculture into industry and then on to other sectors. This is, when you look at economic history, very clear. Starting with the Industrial Revolution in England, the others have started copying it. Next was the United States and Germany. Then came Japan, who also copied from them. And then we have East Asia, China, and finally we see Vietnam taking a big run for it. Africa seems to be left out so far. We look at our tremendous experience in economic growth over the last 2 decades. We have gone from an agrarian economy into a service world, and we seem to have skipped manufacturing. And while we appreciate the 2 decades of growth, we cannot be too sure that we can sustain this growth without driving manufacturing. So I present to you that manufacturing is absolutely essential, difficult but essential to get it right. So I would like to invite you today to the launch of a small program that hopes to be a catalyst of manufacturing in this energy space. Now, there are many other reasons for this. We will discuss in the rest of the next couple of hours why we think manufacturing is absolutely critical, and why it must be done, and why it can be done. I will not go into all the details, but at the very high level, for our foreign currency constrained economy, we think we can save up to 25% of foreign currency if we could just empower our companies in Ethiopia to assemble and maybe manufacture solar products in the country. We think we can create hundreds of thousands of jobs. And on top of that, we have a massive sector called irrigation, where close to 7 million hectares of land could be irrigated by using solar pumps. We're going to discuss quite a bit about that. And that could generate income growth and productivity growth for many decades to come. So we are grateful to have this opportunity to work with you, and especially grateful to have this opportunity to work with Her Excellency, Engineer Aisha, and the Ministry of Irrigation and Lowlands, the Ministry of Water and Energy, as well as other ministries like the Ministry of Industry, who are critical to get this right. Finally, if we don't work together, we're not going to go very far. So with that, let me just stop and invite friend, colleague, partner who's been driving force behind a lot of initiatives with the Ministry of Water and Energy and Ministry of Irrigation, a senior advisor to the government of Ethiopia, his guest.
Thank you, Enoch. Thank you, everyone, for coming to support events. This is a small pilot initiative, a grand challenge that we're working on. However, it has really potential to transform the country because we are in the past have done a lot of infrastructure behind some being developed. Power infrastructure, water infrastructure, but we haven't really integrated these infrastructure together. So for this project, goals to achieve is that we want to integrate our infrastructure with productive use and we know we all are familiar because there's a lot of diesel pumps for irrigation. So the use of soil for irrigation very, very leading us of lost food, really helping the environment. So we thank everyone. Service partners, stakeholders, and without further ado, I'd like to cite
Regulatories, institutional stakeholders, development partners, implementation partners, market stakeholders. Welcome to the launch of Solar Appliance Manufacturing Program launch. Dear participants, the Ministry of Irrigation and Lowlands is a recently established ministry in 2021 under the new government structure of Ethiopia. The ministry is established to enable transformative agricultural productivity by bridging the gaps that exist between water and energy, infrastructures, as well as agricultural production. The ministry aims to achieve food sovereignty and food security by developing a sound national irrigation strategy by leveraging the effective and environmentally friendly use of water and energy sources and infrastructure technologies. Our irrigation strategies are: the ministry has established three main irrigation strategies. One is the development of large-scale commercial irrigation schemes on 500 hectares or more for mainly service water sources. The second one is medium-scale irrigation schemes with cluster farming on 5 to 500 hectares of land using public and groundwater irrigation schemes. The third one is empowering smallholder irrigations with the variable solar pumping technologies or less than 5 hectares of plots. Deep plants. Enabling smallholder irrigation is an important part of our ministry mandate because smallholder farmers that make up 70% of the country's workforce and contribute more than 55% to the country's GDP. It is estimated that there are nearly 200,000 smallholder farms on the market utilizing nearly 5 million liters of fossil fuels per week, polluting the environment and using up a significant amount of foreign currency of our water. The use of solar pumps for smallholder irrigation eliminates environmental pollution caused by fossil fuel and face substantial amount of foreign currency. With the launch of solar appliance manufacturing program, the ministry aims to achieve a short-term goal of replacing approximately 200,000 diesel pumps that are in use and currently manual for verification pumps. The ministry has adopted the idea of local manufacturing of solar appliances because, one, local manufacturing at scale is expected to save up to 20% of foreign currency and create jobs locally. But most importantly, develop the local technical capacity to provide after-sales services, which is one of the most critical gaps in this country. I would like to thank the Share Foundation for sponsoring this grant challenges to identify the best local companies that will help us transform small corridor irrigation. I would also like to thank Precise Consult for supporting and managing this vital initiative. The success of this initiative is very important as the ministry is currently working with IFAD and the World Bank to scale small water solar irrigation by availing much needed foreign exchange facilities for companies to import solar kits for manufacturing and assembly. I would also like to kindly invite other development partners in attendance of this event to support this initiative and help us try to transform small water irrigation through renewable energy and local manufacturing. Thank you very much, and the solar appliance manufacturing program is officially launched.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for coming here early in the morning to show your leadership and support for this program. We would love it if you could stay as long as you can, but please let us know when you have to leave. As you know, you're all very busy professionals, so we like to do things as precisely as possible. We have a very short program for you. So now we're going to present the elements of the solar appliance manufacturing program. And then we will also discuss the grand challenge that will start very soon. Afterwards, we'll have, again, a short discussion here with two leading entrepreneurs in the solar space, one from the irrigation side and one from the solar home system side, and we'll discuss on what it would take, as well as Mr. Iskias also, we'll discuss what it would take for Ethiopia to get manufacturing and assemblies right in this space. So without further ado now, I'd like to invite my colleague Ahmadi, who is our lead in the energy space at Precise Consult, to make the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As Excellency Engineer Aisha, Minister of Irrigation and Programs, invited guests, dignitaries. Once again, thank you for joining us for today's solar manufacturing appliance program launch event. I'm honored to present a brief overview of the program, what it entails, its objectives, the need for it, and its focus areas. We will also have a Q&A session as part of the panel discussion. If you have any questions, so without further ado, I'll dive to the presentation. So I want to start by quickly highlighting Ethiopia's irrigation potential and the role of energy. Ethiopia holds tremendous potential for irrigation and solar energy use. A recent study by Rocky Mountain Institute identified that electrifying irrigation could unlock 1.2 billion USD by 2025. An important number. Again, if we look at the size of land that could potentially be irrigated, 7 million hectares of smallholder farms can be irrigated using solar pump. A recent study by Africa Clean Energy identifies. So huge opportunity for irrigation and electrifying irrigation and application of solar pumps. However, today only 10% of each smallholder farmers use irrigation. So there is ample room for intervention. As you can see from the projected demand, it's expected to grow over the coming years. 2025, 200,000 solar pumps required to irrigate these smaller farms. However, the level of supply in terms of solar pump is low in Ethiopia, primarily due to shortage of forests. Same case, if we look at household lighting situation, again, huge demand for standalone solar products. If we are to achieve the National Electrification Program, net targets by 2025, standalone solar supply has to grow by 12% annually on average. Ethiopia today is the second largest market in sub-Saharan Africa for standalone solar products, but again, huge demand is there. Supply has to rise from 1.7 million units in 2021 standalone solar to 2.7 million units by 2025 if we have to meet net targets. So huge demand here as well. However, same case due to limited forest issues, the projected demand is unlikely to be met. A number of studies assess and evaluate the current trend, and it concludes that with the current trend, it's unlikely to be met the projected demand. So again, if you look at the forex financing need, as well as irrigation development, plus the NEP, USD 1.3 billion forex is needed to meet net targets. For the 200,000 solar pumps mentioned earlier, African Energy Study estimates USD 209 million is required to supply the 200,000 solar pumps. A number of initiatives are already on the way. Development partners and government have spearheaded new initiatives to increase access to forex for the sector. Despite the effort, the forex challenge remains the key impediment to increasing supply of standalone solar appliances. So, given the current trend in forex, the projected demand for solar is unlikely to be met. So, innovative interventions need to be experimented, piloted, and scaled up to optimize forex use, so that more it could enable us to do more available forex. So one, we believe local manufacturing is a viable solution, one solution to addressing the forex challenge. Local manufacturing offers an excellent opportunity to drive supply of solar appliances by optimizing the forex needed per unit of solar appliances. Our analysis shows at least 20% up to 20% of local value addition can be achieved if manufacturing is done at scale. In addition to optimizing forex, local manufacturing offers a number of benefits to the sector and to the economy. One mention is enhancing affordability for end users. A recent study by Efficiency for Access and Trust, funded by UKH, identified that local assembly of solar products are helping to address affordability in the market. The study concluded that food appliances like TV are comparably less expensive than other market efficiently for access subject. So there is a role for solar manufacturing to improve affordability. Creating jobs is another opportunity for local manufacturing offers. Job creation commission study identified the solar PV system manufacturing that could potentially create 2,000 jobs if done at scale. Again, if we look at the solar water pumps being deployed in the irrigation sector, could also create 170,000 jobs. The joint study to precise job creation commission and that. So a number of opportunities, as well as developing the ecosystem, the solar plant manufacturing ecosystem, including after sales and other critical enablers of local manufacturing could also be as part of the manufacturing. So a number of benefits. However, despite the enormous potential local manufacturing offers, there are a number of challenges that local manufacturers and assemblers face while assembling and locally manufacturing solar appliances products. And if we are to make solar manufacturing a success, we have to address these challenges that local manufacturers and assemblers face. Some of them include limited access for solar appliance components, but also lack of quality standards, comprehensive quality standards for locally assembled solar appliances products, and ensuring that locally assembled products are on par with imported products. So a number of challenges stand in the way of scaling solar manufacturing. So with this in mind, the local manufacturing support program has been launched in partnership with the Ministry of Irrigation and Lowlands, as well as Ministry of Water and Energy, with support from Shell Foundation. Its prime objective is to validate the viability and feasibility of local assembly and manufacturing of solar appliances in Ethiopia, and to share the benefits to the sector. Additionally, the program implemented over an 18-month period aims to locally manufacture 270, support local manufacturing of 275,000 solar appliance lighting and productive solar appliance solutions. It has four program components. The program has four components which I'll briefly highlight. The first component of the program is to improve access to forex for solar appliance manufacturers, working with existing professional and commercial facilities to improve access to forex for local manufacturers and assemblers. That's the first component. Second component is dedicated to technical assistance to solar manufacturers and assemblers. The program will provide dedicated and tailor-made technical assistance to solar manufacturers and assemblers selected based on a grand challenge selection process. Technical assistance could range from expansion feasibility support to training of staff. A number of other supports could be provided, tailor-made support. The program will also provide technical assistance and training to relevant government institutions to improve quality standards and their applications and ensure the quality of locally assembled products, locally manufactured product is compliant with quality standards. The third component of the program will be promoting better policy and regulations for local manufacturing and assembly of solar appliances. We will work with relevant government institutions, solar associations, and private sector to create a better living environment for local manufacturing. We will coordinate the technical working group for solar manufacturing that tackles policy and regulation constraining local assembly and manufacturing of solar appliances. Finally, the fourth component of our program will be improved research and market intelligence around solar manufacturing, local manufacturing of solar appliances. The program will regularly disseminate best practices on solar manufacturing as well as an in-depth feasibility study that shows the viability of local manufacturing of various solar appliances. In addition, the program will also working closely with selected private sector companies will capture and disseminate lessons learned on local assembly and manufacturing of solar appliances and how that can be best scaled up in Ethiopia. Thank you once again for listening. If you have any questions, the part of the panel discussion will have a question. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Excellency. Okay, so moving along, thank you so much again. I'm going to invite Gas once again, and you know, this is a project that hopes to learn and scale up manufacturing in Ethiopia. We are under no illusions that it will be easy. So it is extremely important that we work with those that are both capable and excited or have the same vision as ourselves, but also to coordinate across both the public sector and the private sector. So we've designed this project in partnership with the public sector, and it's going to start with the issue of a grand challenge. So we'd like to take a few minutes now to explain what we have in mind with that grand challenge. For that, I will invite Jess back to the book. Thanks again, Al. So I'll get right into it. So when we first started talking about this, Precise came to us and Precise came to us and asked us to assemble solar appliances. Given my background in manufacturing, very good manufacturing. So the first thing I challenge first we have to do the scale. Number two, we have to have minimum technical standards that it needs to be manufactured. Countries don't achieve the economic development without developing the skills locally to actually achieve manufacturing. So they accepted that challenge, and really what we want to do is we want to push the envelope. What can we do locally? And see here some manufacturers are actually working with us on pipes, plastic manufacturing. Anything that we can do, for instance, circuit boards, for example. Why are we doing this? Why are we investing so much time? This is because not only this will help create jobs locally, but most importantly, one of the biggest issues that we hear from farmers is that
systems fail, there's no after sales service. There's no technical capacity, there's no actual operations to achieve these after sales services. So it's really important for us to make sure that that technical capacity is developed locally. So as part of the grant challenge, there will be eligibility requirements for companies, for local companies. For example, must be a registered entity and incorporated in Ethiopia, must be Ethiopian owned, at least 50% plus. The company has to have an operator for at least 3 years. But we'll give you all of this in a grant challenge that will be launching very soon. So basically, it's a company that can operate in the space for a while in the country. And we also have some criteria for evaluation. One of that criteria is technical standards, like we will set minimum technical standards for both solar home systems as well as solar appliances, solar pumps, where there will be efficiency requirements, reliability requirements. What is the technology that these solar manufacturers have been? How is it different or better than the status quo? And we're also going to be looking at, from the technical standpoint, the reliability, material quality of the actual product. There's a lot of examples, cast iron, stainless steel, so forth. So these are very important to be valued, the grand challenge competitors. The other one is organizational and production capacity. This means that we're going to come to look at the system. Do you have the space to do something? What have you been doing in the past? We want companies that are doing actual manufacturing, assembly, at least starting want to progress towards scale. The other criteria is local value addition. How much of manufacturing or assembly is being done locally to create that value that we create? As the Excellency talked about, one of the core metrics is to save for currencies and have more for appliances. So if we can do more locally, that means we have more foreign currency to do more. So we look at how much value these companies are adding by doing manufacturing, as opposed to just doing something. Something is important, of course, but making value efficient is something critical. And I think maybe I'll stop here, and there will be an application and selection process which we will share with you as the program goes on. Precisely will be working with both industries to spearhead the project. And we have a lot of development partners that are in this program. Some of them are already studying before they have attended online. And we also have a very large appraisal program that we recently started with EPAC, the World Bank. Can't see the number yet, but it's quite significant, and it's all going to that will use solar appliances. And we also have the development the Ministry of Energy that will be facilitating incentives for investment. So with that, I'll stop here and think we'll have some question and answer session that we press all the questions on.
Okay, I promise you will have your opportunity to ask questions. I get this comforted when all we do is talk from this side. So let's move on to the panel session. I would like to please ask Samson Balaya, Lavisa Adamu, to join me up here on the panel, as well as his guest. I keep calling back on you. Please come join us. Okay, so as we discussed so far already, assembling and manufacturing, and I keep saying interchangeably because in many cases, manufacturing starts with assembly. We're quite warm with that idea. While extremely essential, it's not going to be easy. We do see some signs, studies show some potential, and in practice, there are some manufacturers, not really that scary yet, but doing their level best, and we see some of them in the group, and we have partners here on the panel as well. But it's not going to be easy. So what this panel is going to discuss is exactly that. What are the key constraints to achieving this, and how do we overcome? We will come back to you with some time for questioning. I promise you we won't talk too much on this side. So please start preparing your questions. So I'm going to start from the other end, Samson. Please introduce yourself. And so my first question to you is, what is the mission of your company? What is it that you're trying to accomplish?
Morning, everyone. My name is Samson Lane. I'm the co-founder and chief officer of local new energy and manufacturer. We started our projects in 2015 with the mission that we want to help develop the capacity in local technology actually by establishing a mission which is basically simple. It's called energy progress, which is endemic. How we can manage with that is by thinking that we can actually make local manufacturing, knowledge local manufacturing environment here locally with our study, with our case study, and we figured that we have the basis ingredients to do that here locally. We have the skills, we have the human capital to do that. However, there are a lot of infrastructure challenges that we need to overcome. And it's taking us a long time to overcome that. I'll talk about it later. Primarily, our called human capital. We design here
Thank you, Samson. And absolutely essential. I agree. Government's national electrification plan expects 10 million households to be electrified for solar home systems. So energy poverty, as you know, is a big driver of economic problems in our country. If you see most of the population in Ethiopia is living off of the grid in a very dispersed way, and that's causing a lot of difficulties for them. The kids can't study at night, and even just having communication groups like cell phones is very difficult. So empowering the most important people, this is such a critical avenue. What I would like to know, something we come back with, is one manufacturing. And maybe just we can quickly address that. Why not just import it? Why not go back in and then, I'll move on to the business.
That's simple. The reason we chose manufacturing local manufacturing value add here. By doing that, we did the local economy. We did the local economy in a magical way. Basically, that right. You know, it is possible. You find a page that.
Thank you. Laveza, same question. So if you could just please introduce yourself, your company, and what's the mission? What is your company trying to accomplish?
Okay. My name is Laveza. I'm the founder and the managing director of Solar Engineering. Solar Engineering is really inspired by information in solar factors. And we have been here for the last 3 years. And, we are focusing on solar irrigation farms. Just trying to help smallholder farmers by providing the solar irrigation farms to their income, so to their lives. So we are trying to make the village of the solar energy. It's not only about all irrigation farms, but we are also working on other progressive items like cooling and drying, incubators like polyethylene and milk machineries. The agro processing, that's where we are getting to. But we are really focusing on smallholder farmers. We have a reason from the beginning, we have been give back to our country and we are focusing on smallholder farmers. We have done this with collaboration with APA, you know, APA, Agricultural Control Agency. We have been doing this research for a year. So we have done a very detailed pilot project for slowly 1 year. And we came up with very good technology that for a household. We are supplying solar plant discharging 3,000 an hour with lights for LED lights, can operate with television. Also gives them helps them on charging the cell for that. The advantage is just to give a solution for a household. This is for small farmers. This one we are importing is a really solution for them. So we have been doing this for a while, and we just really doing this very closely. In addition to that, what we have observed is really work hard to create this demand and make sure the farmers like this technology. We don't want them to, dislike this technology. It's very sensitive. So we just give them, literally give in the household to see what their plans are. And we created this demand around Amara. Now we are all over the country. We are working in the country. So what we want to realize is it's not just to mention. You guys are here. The challenges we face is not only supplying the solar plant, but the farmers have the challenge of the water we're drilling to. One of the issues we have is on the water side too. The system should always take into consideration. Otherwise, they don't have where which has enough static water. You get with the pump, the one is not working, is another challenge. The water saving is another issue. When we see about solar technology, it's not only about the pump, but I just want to mention that I just take advantage of these states to explain this. Unless we have addressed the whole value chain, technology-wise, production-wise, we cannot be successful. So we are reaching our model now. Now we are working in different areas. We are working on well digging to support the farmers, to supply soil technology. We help them on installing water saving equipment like drip irrigation, sprinklers. We are doing that. Also, we are trying to train youth around the place we are deploying the farms. It's a big tool for PE, technical vocational schools, and we train them on how to install the farms. There is just mentioned about the after-sales service. We are addressing this issue by training of youth and give them the right training and show them how to install the farm. And we put them on our database so we can train them and improve their education. So now we don't need any support from anywhere. If I need some samples broken in Kogra, another region, I don't need to send my picture from. They can do it from there. So we are also building this capacity and to train this thing. So Solar period is really focused on to keep the whole solution and this whole value chain. After saying that, now from the beginning, our aim is once we start this thing, we need to have this supply issue we already thought about assembly plan. What we did was we partnered with Oromia Regional States and created a company called Portum, which is working on assembling solar water plants. This was created. We are still working with a company called Sunculture, Kenya. So we partnered with Sunculture, primarily with my company. So we are working on creating the assembly plant around Mojo area, but we're still working on it. So as a while, we created the demand. We work hard to introduce this. And there is no solution without solar to our country. So how we just try to tell you how we can complete solution to this challenge. That's why we went to assembly almost 2 years ago. So that's where we are now.
Thank you, Lamisa, and I've been fortunate enough to see some of the pilot projects, the kind of impact they can make in the lives of smallholder farmers on the ground is quite incredible. And I can testify to that. I look forward to working with you further. This case, back to you again. So you've been critical advisor both at the Ministry of Water and Energy and at the Ministry of Irrigation and Lowlands at this point. So my question is, I guess, from the government of Ethiopia and more specifically from these two ministries' point of view, what is it that we're trying to achieve? Again, with manufacturing, but also with energy as the driver of economic development, as the driver of improvement of the lives of ordinary Ethiopians. What is our mission?
Thank you, Heno, and thank you, Samson, for being this was very insightful. What you've been doing on the ground. Just part of the branch of coming in facilities and hopefully your projects as well. So that's very important for us to understand the local capacity and also, what are some of the business model mechanisms that have been deployed so far. So as far as the government is concerned, I think the most important thing from the energy side is achieving universal education according to the net by 2025. And that's most years we're only at 50%. So it's a quite a challenge for us to do that. What really holds us back from achieving this for the most part is electricity access is not commercially viable. It's significantly subsidized. If you look at the connected footprint, it's subsidized 65%. This electricity. When we go into rural mini grids, we look at that number goes up. When you come to solar systems, I think that's better. We would buy. But what are they doing in front? There's no production. So the idea here is about really prioritize collective use of energy as a tool for us to achieve commercial viability as well as I'm very interested in what we said. We're not only providing solar vision, but also electricity access to lighting, charging. This is exactly what we need to have an integrated system development plan that actually leverages the infrastructure, water infrastructure, infrastructure to help achieve the sustainability. So this is what we're at, and this is precisely why the Ministry of Relations. There was a huge gap between energy and water infrastructure, and then what happens in cultural projects. So Ministry of Relations comes in the middle, provides much needed execution and policy capacity. Further, streets, lowlands, Ministry of Matters to everything, and plus government. So, so ideally, electricity access enables, as we all know, pretty much everything. It's the foundation for development. So, but we want to team it up with productive activity that makes it financially viable, so that we don't have to absorb subsidies. And two ministries, Mr. Agriculture, also be on board, Mr. Industry, but also attachments. So this year, not only have stakeholders program, and we're going to be doing this to ensure that this becomes a Thank you. So a lot of this happens in the private sector, again, because the private sector will eventually end up delivering the services and the products that are going to be necessary on the ground. So it's really about how to create that environment and also how to enhance learning. Just listening to these two gentlemen, the entrepreneurs here, you get a sense of the process of learning. That's what we want to encourage. Levesa's partnership with the ATA, for instance, was a learning ground, a pilot program they implemented, was a learning ground to figure out what works, what doesn't work, and how to improve that. So that's the spirit we want to take this, because without learning together, we're not going to accomplish this. And then we come back to Samsung. They've done quite a lot of work in innovating the solar home systems. For instance, they have now designed, be a spokesperson, Ethiopian certified and approved solar home system. I think that's 4 watts and 6 watts. 5 watts. 5 watts. So, we're hoping to support this initiative. We need to make sure that it's more and more of a downhill from here on, so they can accept it rather than an uphill, which is really what we used to. And I'm sorry to say, especially in manufacturing, it's always kind of been the ambition, but not so much the reality on the ground. So with that, when we get to those challenges, we have to do this. If we have to do this, what are the key bottlenecks that are going that we do to overcome? That's what it comes down to. So Samsung, we're not going to be able to solve 99 problems. So can we focus on 3? What are the 3 top problems that are stopping you from doing this at scale? Like 5 years from now, we have 1 million or 2 million solar systems, maybe aspiring to export to the Horn of Africa, maybe other countries in East Africa. Let's take big. What are the top 3 problems that you're facing in manufacturing? At least we know our project would be a year. Sorry. 5 years ago, our challenges were infrastructure, get land, get access to permits and things like that. So those are behind us now. It was very difficult, but we went through those challenges. But the challenges that we have now are more into the scale of the stage, right? So we are, as I say, a local manufacturer. We need local manufacturer. First challenges that we have is that people don't understand what it really means is local manufacturing. We actually design our products. We the concept from the idea to the product realization. So what that means is that we not a simple. There's no. I'm not trying to say that as simply or different products. The thing that what I'm saying is that our model is we actually design our product ourselves, and then we go through product testing, product viability. All those issues are very challenging for manufacturers. So what we need is we design our product, we went through a certification period with people and ECA, price. All those certifications were very difficult for us because they don't have all the So at this stage, the challenges that we have are from government point of view or from other stakeholders, from local financiers and banks, they don't understand our challenge. So when we say that we need capital access to build up our production capacity, the first thing that ask you, when are you gonna, when are we gonna realize that you're not our investment? And in our case, for the manufacturers, it is one period of time, or so that is a very big challenge for us. It's just the business model is such that it is field favorable. So that is a very big challenge for us to overcome as if that is our best for is the challenge. That's universal, so we accept that and we believe that in fact one of our positions is that we will save we don't say up to 50 to 60%, even more by doing local manufacturing here, because the inputs that we import from overseas, what we outsource for our products are the material issues, the small aspects, the components that we import. However, the big input for us is our idea of concept design, which is totally available. So that is a major challenge for us. People to understand that, but we need that we can do local manufacturing, and so on. So what seems like this one, the challenges, but then the challenge in focusing that.
So access for finance, foreign currency.
So the third one is that we need to challenge that, which is the global regulations in terms of taxes, tariffs, and there's from a government point of view, there is incentive where that they will say we want to incentivize this sector, the energy sector, the energy sector, and say that we use those tariffs or systems. We don't need the design systems here, but what we import components, individual components that are very small in value individually, but people that are important, both with the advantages that the system always. So for us to be competitive, we need to go to agencies, get an agency that you have to give us the same incentives so that we can import our inputs at the same level of charges as system. And even when those incentives are extended for us, the challenge are very difficult because we import the same system that importer imports. We import 50 components, and receiving those and providing those to customers officials and having them look at those and say, okay, what to do. So that entire process of getting those inputs, having the same target relations is very difficult challenge. Even in the environment where those targets are available, having them at the agency is very difficult.
So, can you leave that microphone? So, my follow-on question to you would be, we don't just talk about the problem, but the potential solution. So, what do you think, not just the government, but we can all do to overcome these challenges? Just quickly, for the sake of time, 1, 2, 3, we can move on to this.
Yeah, so we can't break on these challenges, right? So we have to make people understand what our challenges are. So the first challenge, the first thing that we need to do is to make sure that people, every level of the government, understand what we're trying to do. So in most cases, the challenges are there because they don't understand exactly what we're doing. So they they come up with regulations, they do what they know based on, current models or current businesses say. So for us, we need to provide, our business model, our challenges to people, stakeholders, please address them in the way that we can. Outside of that, we don't necessarily always wait for solutions from others. We do our own solutions. We try to provide our own solutions. So we partner with stakeholders, whether local or overseas. We have extended networks, based on our past careers that we can take advantage of. So we, from a private system, we take advantage of those networks that we have and try to overcome these public programs until we scale up and show or demonstrate the value of the So.
Thank you. I think that's always important that we in the private sector are also problem solvers, not just complainers. We do complain quite a bit, but eventually we're going to need to overcome these challenges together with public sector and with the help of development partners. Eventually, they irreplaceable role of advancing lighting solutions, advancing irrigation solutions that are going to form in the private sector. So the innovation and the problem solving spirit is going to be important. With that, and yes, we are working together with Abraham Bachman and Samsung on sourcing some units, and I can confirm to you that they do intend on adding value more than 50%. And things are, by the way, it sounds almost impossible, but it's not so impossible. Some of you in this audience that we invited are not even necessarily from the solar sector, but are experts at manufacturing and adding value locally in similar sectors, in the electronic sector. And some of these skills are transferable. And I think you should network here, you should meet people like Lavisa and Samsung, and then cross-fertilization is going to help us achieve our ambition of producing more and more of the value locally. Lavisa, let me come to you again, same question. Again, I want to go back to the audience since we've been speaking too long here. Again, in a very concise way, if you can just go 1, 2, 3 on your 3 basic challenges to start and scale manufacturing or assembly, as you said, and what you think we should do together, government as a private sector.
Thank you. The challenge is, that it's a forex issue, for some issue for the country, but also the assembly, the manufacturing is also the support and using scarce resources for solution for the challenge, because it's not easily solved in short time. For me, the challenge is the forex. I'm very supportive person. The thing is the commitment and determination of the private sector. We need to think it about as changing lives of our community. We need to be committed. It's not about the business of that's our issue most of the time. Not about business of we need to have a social responsibility. So if you are committed to do it, if you are determined to do it, and we have such support from government and organizations, I know there is no challenge to overcome. We have passed through grassroots, we have passed through different challenges, bureaucracy, whatever, but we first, we challenge, we didn't go back. And we are successful in producing technology. We have an issue now on the supply side. I took an order for 1,000 pumps from Amara, I cut orders. I supplied only 200. I think we can wherever we are going, the farmers are immediately when so closely farms that the next question is they're just trying to give them more. And they are trying, literally they are trying. Because the challenge there, and now it's almost different, the price of the disease. The credit and the issue is almost totally different now. So we can't respond to those things. If you are committed to it and you have such support, I don't see there's a challenge, such support. So just for me as a company, and my experience the last 2 years, we can different challenges. We need to accept as we have this development as a, we need to impact the challenges and get into with the bureaucracy and the financial, but for us, yes, we are started working exactly the assembly plant. Maybe the different challenges coming all the time. I can say like around that because we pass through that. But for me, I am always facing the challenge, but we need to research for the challenge. So for me, except the forex, the only thing we need is confidence and preparation. It's not, we don't need to think about only business and making money. We need to think about changing lives of our community. If this is coupled, you can do whatever you want to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. So, Cass, let me come back to you. There is a big role for the public sector as well. So, how do you plan to work with entrepreneurs like panelists, but also so many here in the audience to overcome these challenges? Thank you, everyone on the panel, as well as the people from the audience. I actually somehow feel vindicated when I research that we have to look back to see that there are many companies, that see a handful of companies that are actual manufacturers and willing to take part in this grand challenge. We had a low bar of achieving 20% saving effects. I'm hearing that number of which is really excellent from just resources like we specifically so I just want to address some of the challenges that were stated. Some of them done. I think maybe the important question. Access to finance. This is a very problem. I was actually at home with the ministry. We have a huge weird irrigation infrastructure development and stuff the finances. And we're just starting to do local funds. And that with some of these products don't exist yet in a very large infrastructure having discussion with the president of commercial bank of the third bank. How can we think about new products or some return projects manufacturing for some of our infrastructure projects well, the return on investment and years. So we're just starting that conversation. I think we'll be with the hopefully result that financing capital but I think that will go a long way in helping some of the manufacturing companies that are doing deeper manufacturing, device levels, casting, plastics, so on. The other one is the FX facility. We know this has been a problem in this country for and we are working, like I said, with partners to create FX facility for solar appliance import. It's not really specific to manufacturing, but manufacturing is closely prioritized. So that will be hopefully available soon. I know the will be launching very soon. So that facility will be available to local manufacturers. Various people this year. Access and tariffs. We'd like to look at that. There is excise tax exemption for solar components, and it's only about that.
withholding and just so we want to look at companies that we can imagine that value. Let's look at the numbers and see what we can. Let's go to the work of the scale of the price. That easily found a lot of issues in past. Getting companies something was imported. So they should also get some regulation. For management products and how to make sure. And also build the capacity. How do we make sure that the person can know the difference doing it with manufacturing versus small value of the product design. So we're here to assist, but be innovative on your side. Come to us and offer solutions because we think private sector is providing these public sector will assist on policy.
Okay, back to you guys. Happy to take questions. Anyone? This must be either extremely clear or extremely confusing. Okay, I see two hands. I'm going to start with the gentleman there. So, ground rules, please introduce yourself, where you come from, and then try to ask a question in the 30-45 seconds.
Okay, thank you. I'm afraid that from the racism. Thank you for launching this program. I have some clarifications about the launch. Is it manufacturing or assembly program? As I know that manufacturing is a little bit difficult regard to technology. So this is one question. And then what are the certificate supports that are to be provided for assemblers or manufacturers? Who is going to provide the support?
Thank you. Thomas?
Yeah, hello, Thomas from Coursera Manufacturing PLC. So just comments and also include some questions. So one thing I wanted to challenge you, I say like that maybe it's not so much to convince now everybody first about what's been done there, but I do think that the government will be convinced and the different institutions and government will be convinced by doing so. I think the most important, like the business things that we are able to do. And there are a few things and that are then needed, but I stay on the point that the business was actually mentioning it also in that side sentence, except for the forex, because that is exactly what is needed. I think forex is really the big thing that holds us all up with all the different ideas and the different directions that we are having. And once you can do something and grow and can show something, this will have automatically the effect of solving the other issues that we have in the place, right? So, and looking at that also, for example, local value addition. So far, if we want something, we are separated as much assembly and manufacturing. For me, it's majorly a part, a gradual part of how much value addition there is. Many manufacturers worldwide are basically design and assembly later, where then everything else in between is manufactured out and put together. And that is a point which is, in my eyes, a little bit not so much looked at yet in Ethiopia. How can we incentivize B2B business more? Right? And I don't see that being talked about much yet. I have been asking 8 years ago, Europe Cable, elsewhere, all of them, to get cables, because that would be for me one of the first things that is feasible here to use as a local component. And after long discussion and first trying to scare me away with big minimum order quantities and everything, what I figured out is that at the end they are not producing that because they can also produce a product that they can sell just everywhere. And that is making sense. If you have so limited forests, then you limit yourself to to those products that you can sell easily. We do the same thing with 1-2 products that we are selling, because otherwise it will make it too complicated. But if there would be some incentive somehow to not sell to the next retail shop, but to sell to the manufacturer, then you would get much more industry development. Now, I wonder if there has been made some thought about how to incentivize people. Thank you.
Spoken like a practitioner of products. Yes, those are the issues really that we've been looking at as well. What's the next question? Yes. Oh, I'll come back to you, John. Again, please introduce yourself, where you come from, and be very brief with the questions so we can have as many questions as possible.
Good morning, Michael Alejo, Cambrian Gigawatt Volunteer. The question is very simple. You're talking about what manufacturing, but you are not talking at all about the distribution channel, how you're promoting it, what is the scheme, how many like retail, how you will retail this. Because well, it's nice to talk about how you do things, but it's probably more important how they get into hands of people. So interesting.
Thank you, Michael. At the back, again, please introduce yourself, where you come from. Brief question.
Thank you. My name is Adam. I work for USA Transport Watch. I have 2 brief questions. One is about after 6 functionality. Most of the time, like electromechanical problems happen, within the other areas, but just that kind of problem. So I just want to learn if there is any organized research or learnings from project areas like in as the data was mentioned earlier. And the other thing is related with the colleague who mentioned it earlier, how the market uptake by smallholder partners, like are they willing to pay for it, like or how much are they paid also for those water plants or solar solutions?
Okay, then take 1 or 2 more questions and get one it's sweet.
Thank you very much. And thank you for the comments. I'm kind of out of being top and I don't know. And also, I was watching some small farmers from the Kenyan side who are very experienced. Really amazed that it's coming careful. But my question is, I just want to supplement what the guy said earlier. This is the smallholder agriculture, it's the kind of smallholder agriculture. So now, when we say smallholder, it's really small, these are 0.5 hectares. So now my question is this technology something that an individual household can adapt in terms of investment? And what is the expected return from it? In what you can, how can you move, what is happening? Are you also working with the Ministry of Agriculture? Are you working with the Ministry? And if we are going to try, of course, this is the future, but we have to think also and what we need. What is the assessment of that?
Okay, last question.
Thank you for this meeting. And my name is Jonas from Sun Transfer Agency. My question would be on the value addition manufacturing products. We know that we have been importing products for the past few years. And we know that customers in different models, understanding of components and people, giving the right tariff for finished products have been important challenge and still the challenge. And I agree with Samson that when you are doing manufacturing at component level, then listing those components at electronics level and giving tariff and all those challenges will be
for gas from the government? What are the specific, I mean, regulations you are going to put? Are you going to exclusively, train people of customs in other places to have this more dedicated line for manufacturers? Because it's going to be very complicated. We have been basically dealing for each product so far. So what are the plans, specific plans?
Promise I wasn't shocked by the question. Water went to the wrong pipe, so apologies for that. Let me go, let me start with the innovation at this time. Please respond to the questions that apply.
I will try to answer two questions after sales service. From our experience, what we are doing is with orders, for example, Mr. Manufacturer, the federal, already 120 pumps in the last year. So they give us where these 120 pumps are going to be installed. What we have done is we went to those areas where we are going to install the pumps and selected so that it be exactly from very close to exactly the place we are installing the pump, from close to them, so that we are removed by the connectivity source with some close locations like the city or the location. That will first be that way. That's how it is. We select those kids and we are going to do the training. The training is given by us and by experts coming from Nairobi, because we are our suppliers are from Nairobi. So we train them and then we keep some of our database. And we are given the silver, gold, platinum. When they install 10 pumps, they come as silver. Like when they install 3 pumps, we make them gold. And the payment is going to be incentivized in this arena. So the thing is, there's nobody except we train those kids around. We have a lot of those trained graduates from the colleges around our country who do the audio. So that's why we are using to troubleshoot with any problems encountered. We can communicate with them because they are installing results. If they can't troubleshoot the problems, our business can go there. So that's how we are addressing those issues. For us, it is a very good solution. We have project international, it's difficult to transport computers from here to there. And that's very important. The water is very important for those plants. You can't keep those plants, idle for 3-4 days. We're going to fix the plant. So the solution we created is really to work now, those things to scale down. And the whole time that I want to hide is we are going to sort the plants twice a year around that area. So those that have enough room to occupy them will be spared. And then we train 8-10 of them. We'll go back there. We are only 3-4. So we are looking for another job. We may not listen. What we are trying to thinking is how we can keep them around, even create some job opportunities so we can make them easy around that area. So that's all the time we are told that this is addressed like this by us and they work down. The payment issue is another thing which I think from our experience, yes, solar is an issue, the initial cost is high, but the thing is we need to use the microfinance. Our farmers have this title for the land, so we can give as a guarantee. But the microfinance also have a challenge in this, that we need to work more in that area once we have the availability. So we are manufacturing it or assembling it. Yes, we try because we need to seek out the solution to. We can produce thousands of yes, the demand is there. To be sure the demand is there, there's no solutions, and now even higher. But the thing is, the initial cost carry that issue. But we have done by the careful. We have done a study with Bahrain University to see on the 500 meters square land, we try to see how much we can generate income. We say we sold that farm for 46,000 years ago of now. And we saw how they can pay that for 6,000 in 1 year. This is the study done by Bahrain University. they can pay once in the month. We are giving them this fund to make them work for three times a year with the funds. But instead, they can pay the 46,000 in one year. Given we can give them all support, which I mentioned before, including road support, the cross-sector issue. There are different types. If you give them all the support, the farmers can pay once. This is actual data that can check with every once. So that's one of the things we can do on the parent side. Yes, initially we can pay for 6,000-7,000 now. But the microfinance and the solutions and the gas system also allow to do the solution. We haven't tried, but it's a very good solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Lavisa. I would also like to add, we are working with Lavisa to document what his experiences have been, so that the broader community can learn from their experience on the ground, what went well, what didn't go well, and in terms of what the major challenges are. I think one of the things he did mention was productivity of some of the smaller farmers went so far up that their first problem was where to sell their fruits, vegetables, and fish. Again, that's why we advocate a market-led, private market-led approach. But in this case, it's an excellent learning opportunity. So he's moved into trying to help some of those farmers access farm markets locally. So again, it's a long learning process, and we have to help each other to accomplish it. Samson, let me go to you and answer the questions that apply to you. And then I suggest that for the remaining, stick around when we finish in a few minutes, stick around and network and have more conversations.
I'll try to address a couple of questions and comments that you made. First, let me address the one of the things that we want to increase or take advantage of is sourcing our people as much as possible. So that requires us to do businesses to make okay, is it better? Yeah. Okay, so working with local partners, right? Local businesses, as Thomas mentioned, wire, manufacturers or other inputs that we need. As far as I'm concerned, I would like to source all of my inputs locally if I can do that. But by nature, a lot of the inputs that we need, electronic components, are manufactured worldwide by big manufacturers, and there is really no incentive for us to manufacture them locally. So we will keep sourcing those from those global manufacturers. However, there are inputs that we need that we can manufacture locally, such as wires and even the plastic packages that we use. So we went around, looking for partners to help us manufacture our own in casings for our controllers. But the incentive is not there for a lot of the businesses, because whatever bill or currency that they have, they want to use it for their own bid. So what we ended up doing is, we basically went out and purchased our own injection molding machine, so we can manufacture our own in casings locally. There is an advantage for us to do that if it adds our local input and reduces our forex footprint. However, we can't keep doing that for all the inputs that we need. So we can't become a wire manufacturer, because that's not our model, right? So we have to partner with others who manufacture wires, so they can provide us the necessary wires that we need. However, they're not incentivized to do that, because they don't have the resources or the big volume that they would require for them to make it viable for them to do that. So somehow either businesses have to get together and try to make that market viable enough for the local manufacturers, or again, we have to go back to the government to try to make some of this restrictions
is limited, either provide them some forex so that they can input those inputs that they need to make those wires that we need locally, or create the environment for them to make the market viable for them. So, get businesses together and make the market big enough so they can make those products locally for us. However, to the extent that we can, we try to integrate as much of those local people ourselves. Our incentive is not to make all those inputs by ourselves, because that's not practical and it doesn't make sense. But I'll give you another example. The outside the packaging, the paper packaging that we need for our products, is very expensive and to the large extent not even available locally. So we have to import paper packages from outside just to put our products in a package that we can sell, right? Those are things that can be made locally from available resources, but the business model that we support that. So it's a lot cheaper for me to import those paper packages from overseas than to purchase them locally. So businesses have to work together to reduce some of these challenges. I don't have the solution and how we can solve this right now, but these are the challenges that we have when we try to increase the local. So that's where I think businesses and the government have to work together to minimize the challenges that we have. The other question that was addressed is about the after sales support. One of the reasons that we say that we want to have a local manufacturing business model is actually to support that. We're closer to our customer base. So by being local, we can provide better warranty services and better maintenance services. We're locally here. If you have issues with the products that we make, we will be able to service them quickly and provide a meaningful, working, practical warranty service. We train locals so that they can support or the services or maintenance business of our products. Again, this is the value add rate that we have. It's not just the local manufacturing, but we also support those businesses that do maintenance services. We train them and they will be able to provide those services for our end users. And then lastly, in terms of distribution, we do work with local distribution partners to make our products affordable. In the first place, by making them locally and by reducing the forex footprint, we're hoping and we are actually realizing that our products are cheaper, providing equivalent quality of service for our end users. So the products are affordable, competitive, and also we partner with microfinance organizations and other distributors that have local relations to the end user. So we work with them to make these products easily available to the
I just wanted to address two of the questions. Again, this is a solar manufacturing project, but I just want everybody to understand we're not solving all manufacturing supply chain. So we want to be very clear. If someone wants to build a capacitor here, the plans to do that, that's not the intent of this project. You can go as far as mining the material that requires to put chips. So I think we have to limit our engagement to a certain point. Really, the idea is, you guys know your system. Where can you add the most value given where we are in this country? That's really the question that will come to us. And how can we support you with policies without nice? I think it's really important for us to focus. Of course, our mandate both from the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Water, and water stuff it's not the good manufacturing supply. It's to make sure that the lowest possible cost. So, the B2B incentives are very interesting. The thing is, you know your business is much more than we do. So propose ideas for the thing makes sense. Start kind of policy. Now that's what projects like this. Don't policy. Improve our policies that we move forward. The distribution incentive is important. And be part of actually criteria for the grand challenge. We'll look at who has the most innovative and cost-effective distribution system. So you guys should be the challenge to give them the distribution, make sure that the least cost products or the product reaches customers. Because that at the end of the day, government is the consumers. So definitely part of the I know the companies here that do big uses of that, not just for but for providing these parts. So, I think be open-minded, but come with reasonable ask. Something that obviously. So let me add a couple of points, I think. First of all, this end goal of increasing productivity or removing energy poverty in lighting is a massive goal. I don't want to get too much into details here. But if you just look at productivity, Egypt, which uses our water and our soil, happens to have 3 times the productivity in agriculture. And one of the things that are being done is not helping us, is the fact that we're not using our water. So when it comes to payback, that's really what matters. If we are able to create enough value, that was going to end up paying for the cost of these appliances that we're going to deploy in the country. Having said that, as precise, our approach is always learning, theorizing, or piloting, and then scaling up. And we are guided by those principles. In fact, in terms of productive use, we looked at a number of sectors where standalone solar systems can make massive impact. And in fact, we recently, Jonas and some transport here, we just recently started implementing a pilot on poultry. There's a few others, the lighting for poultry farms, lighting systems actually increase productivity of egg laying hens, milking machines, butter churners using solar systems. All of these could be available today to smallholder farmers and power plant users in the country. So we're piloting them. We've done all the financial models. The numbers tell us it's improved in 3 to 4 years. But again, bottom line is how does it look on the ground? On the paper and on the ground, they're usually different. That's why we're piloting it, and then of course we publish that experience as well. On assembly versus manufacturing, we have a slightly different view for most. This program, I think there's a question, is this about manufacturing or assembly? I didn't clearly say. We're trying to work with those who can add the most value, but we're not dogmatic about it. We have to be practical. So whether it's assembly or manufacturing, it depends on what can be done and what you can do. So we're going to work with those who are best placed to add the most value. Our personal view as precise consultants, we're actually big believers in assembly. And as you heard, one of our ambitions is to support in the policy sphere, whether it's with the tax system. And by the way, it's less on policy and more on administration these days. The policy generally in the view there could be some improvement, but on administration, as I think some of you here of the private sector from the work with the administration and the
So we'll try to help in that way. But on assembly, some of the problems, Samson was mentioning, Thomas was mentioning, the secondary input suppliers, like the cables, they need the market. Some of the other countries that took off in assembly took off by starting in assembly. If you look at China, it was similar. Vietnam, which is a very interesting case in point, managed to attract Samsung to operate in the country. And something like 2000 supply chain actors followed Samsung in Vietnam. And if you listen to the news yesterday or this week, Apple is moving more and more of their manufacturing processes into Vietnam. And this is happening like in 10 years after some of these things started to happen. But they started with assembly. Unfortunately, it's difficult for government to differentiate between assemblers and traders. And this is how the government keeps seeing it. The government sees assemblers as not adding enough value. We think over time we can all learn and figure out how to incentivize and support assembly. So when it comes to this project, we work with assemblers as well. But over time, I think one of the solutions is going to be that if we are assembling 2, 3, 4, 5 million pieces, solar systems, irrigation systems in Ethiopia, then I think we'll have the attention of the cable companies, the plastics manufacturers, all of these will have more and more incentive to start catering to the industry. So I don't see a way out without assembly. So I would support that. In terms of foreign exchange policy, obviously, what we're trying to do here, everybody agrees this is a massive problem, not just for this sector, but also for everything that we're doing in this country. We, as Precise, we agree with the government's direction, and I will be on record with them. I think unless we do something revolutionary here, like floating it within some boundaries, we're not going to sort of keep kicking the can down the street. The proxy thing is the government has already said we would do this. We're waiting for the capability to be in place. So eventually that will come. But until then, we have to optimize the use of our very rare resource, which is foreign currency. We have to make sure that every dollar that we earn, that every dollar that we have, gets us the most amount of energy to improve the lives of people, which is why we think we have no choice but to add value locally. I think finally, I would say the private sector has to really work together. I don't want to get on Samsung. I see Coavits there, the Solar Association. Some of you might not be members. I would implore you to work with the association. We have to work as a country and as an industry to make progress. There's no way individually we can make enough of a difference to impact the most number of people that we're planning to do. So, I think there are some people from outside of the solar industry now, they should know you and perhaps become a member. Finally, it's truly my hope that Africa has managed to leapfrog in the telecommunication space. That Israel Telecom is independent next door, coincidentally. We've seen landlines being leaked over, and telephone access has increased using mobile phones without having to. So we have the capability of leapfrogging. Mobile money is essentially driven by innovation in Kenya. That's another leapfrogging. We're leapfrogging over branches. And I think that's possible in Ethiopia. And third, I think it's possible, and I really believe we work together to make it happen. We could leapfrog over grids. Grids are going to continue to be important. I'm not talking down grids, but off grid is going to be important. If you look at the West, increasingly they're moving away from grids and they're going towards distributed systems. There's no reason why we don't do that. We don't have to sink so much of the infrastructure cost. This really is an opportunity for us to innovate and lead. Having said that, I would like to thank my fantastic panelists here. I would like to thank you all for coming here early in the morning, as I promised to leave you enough time to go back to work. And finally, I would like to thank the team here at Precise, Najib, Agin, Khan, Sema, everyone here at Precise that do things so flawlessly. I would like to thank them for making me look good. So please stick around and let's have a little bit of conversation of coffee and network.